Hi, my name's Chris Caesar. I'm a landscape photographer based out of my gallery here in York. Some time ago we made a series of videos on the range of papers by Canson Infinity, and what I've decided to do now is do another series of videos, but this time based more on my work from the different seasons of the year, and then looking at the paper choice that I made to actually make the prints. I'm an ambassador for the Canson Infinity range of fine art photographic media, and one of the things that I really like about their range is the sheer sort of amount of options I have when deciding how I want to portray my work to the viewer. So this is the second episode in Series 1, 4 seasons in print, and this one is called Summer. So we're going to look at 5 images from the summer. Now the summer is a weird one for me. It's probably the time when I'm least active, partly due to the crazy starts and the long days, but also because of the sort of sun being high in the sky. It's hard to sort of create sort of dramatic warm images when there's such a harsh light around. So it's not unusual to see me in the summer shooting at the end of the day, last couple of hours of the day when the sun's gone lower, softer light, and also when the sun's in a totally different position to the rest of the year when I shoot, which is normally sort of spring, autumn and winter. So the first image today I want to chat about is this one. This is called Blazing Skies at Whitby. Whitby is a very popular resort on the Yorkshire coast. It's the landing place of Dracula, who allegedly set up shop underneath the old ruins at Whitby Abbey. And if you come out of Whitby Abbey, there's a series of steps leading down to the town. So you walk down past this area, which we're going to call the Old Town. This is where the old jet miners would have stayed when they used to mine Whitby jet from under the waters in the harbour and out to sea. Whitby jet was made famous by Queen Victoria, who liked to wear the polished, smooth black stone. On the other side, this is the sort of west side of Whitby. This is where tourism sprang up eventually. So we've got all the hotels on this side, the old town on this side, and it all comes together to make a very, very popular place to go. As such, it's a place I go with the camera quite a bit, and very occasionally I get to see a fantastic sunset. The beauty about Whitby is that the piers point north, which means that the steps coming down from the Abbey are pointing across there, which is basically northwest, which is where the sun sets in summer. So on our coast, the east coast, which is where I do most of my work, we get to see the sun setting in the sea, which is a bit strange. So this picture's full of warmth from this lovely sunset. This was made during a workshop, a one-to-one. So I worked with my client and we looked at various ideas, compositions. We shot landscape, portrait, different angles. But this one's one of my favourites from the session, and we just waited until the sun almost got out of play. But it was important that the sun still had some sort of effect on the image. You can see here, it's lighting these railings. It's just catching them at the death. So the sun's in play, the sun's adding light and drama to the sort of composition. Yet, because it's partly gone behind the cloud, we can control it a lot easier. You'll see there's a lovely warm sky, the sun's reflected in the water also, the lamp is lit, because it's almost sunset, the lamps have come on. So we've got this secondary source of lighting here that sort of carries a theme throughout the image. So overall, it's a warm image. It's got a feeling of sort of, I don't know, sort of natural warm colours, reds and oranges. And I wanted to portray it on a warm paper. So I choose Rag Photographique 310, which is a matte smooth fine art paper from Canson Infinity. It's very white, but it's not as white as some of the pure white, bright white things out there. So it's got a slightly warm white feel, which is perfect for landscapes in general because they tend to be full of greens and blues and yellows and sort of warm colours. So this picture works absolutely perfectly on this paper. It's full of detail. It handles the sort of range of tones very well also. And it's a paper that I like to use when I can, and it's hopefully a paper that I can use in the future if I can shoot some more scenes worthy of it. So that's the first image today. Okay, so here's the second image that I'd like to show you today. This was shot in June in the Yorkshire Dales. Now the Yorkshire Dales is normally a mass of beautiful sweeping green hills and valleys. But in the summer, some of these fields and valleys get transformed. There's lots of different meadow flowers. You find blue, red, white, yellow. And some of the fields just simply get transformed by carpets of buttercups. And this is one of those fields. Now this was a day that didn't promise much, you can see from the sky. And it was a case of being patient, really. As far as the lighting's concerned, the sun did eventually come out. And we had a strange situation where we had a very, very bright foreground, which the sun was catching, and this overcast sky. So on this picture, there's an upside down ND grad filter used just to control this brightness. So a little two-stop soft grad to try and control it. And we still end up with this beautiful contrast between the bright yellow of the buttercups in the sunlight and the moody sky in the background. The main subject, you could argue, are the flowers. It could be this barn. This is a beautifully detailed barn, and you can see here the through stones sticking out of it. Yorkshire Dales has a lot of dry stone building going on, and the through stones go through 2 layers of brick to hold it all together. So it's all, as far as I know, dry stone. There's no cement and stuff in there, and you'll see that there's another one here on this little hill. So there's a little repetition of the barns, some walls here to look at before we drift into that powerful sky. So the image is about contrast. It's about drama and contrast. And for this, when I've got an image like this, normally I will turn to a paper called Barita Prestige. This is a 340 gram bright white paper. It's got probably the highest Dmax of any of the Canson Infinity range. So if you want an image where you can really push blacks and show whites, then the Barita Prestige should be one of the things that you're considering. But I like it. It's got this barium sulfate coated surface, slight texture to it, like a little speckling, but it's the way that I can get these dark tones down and handle the bright tones as well that I like. So this gives me a dramatic, punchy result, and that's why I chose Barita Prestige. Okay, so here's the third image today. Now this is an image called Field of Dreams. Up in the Yorkshire Wolds, and this was made in July when the poppies were out. So it's interesting that all the flower photography I do tends to be in the summer when I'm not shooting theoretically anything, although I obviously do go out. But I like this picture. There's a tension to it. There's a contrast not only in the sort of brightness and the darknesses, but there's a contrast between this chaotic foreground with everything that's going on and the calmness that exists in the background. So we've got, you know, lots of juxtapositions going on here, lots of opposites in this image. I mean, if you look at the back, we've got this lovely undulating hill that's just catching the last of the light. You'll notice the light's much stronger in the foreground because we're nearer the sun. But in the sky, you've also got these subtle clouds. As far as composition goes, it was a case of moving around, trying to find the right foreground whilst trying to keep some of the key things, maybe like this little clump of trees, from drifting too far to the edge of the image. The image itself, as I say, it's a nice blend of drama and sort of composure. But this foreground is really busy and it's really dramatic. It's a field of barley blowing gently in the wind. The poppies are in there. They're adding colour. They're part of the landscape for a few weeks. And it's just a beautiful scene with this very serene backdrop in the background. As far as printing it goes, I chose again the Rag Photographique 310, which is the fine art matte paper. It's incredibly smooth, which means these areas here, which are incredibly smooth on the image, will be printed with no distractions. It's just a beautiful, smooth result. Yet the Rag Photographique is able to deliver incredible detail. So all of the sort of, we'll call them ears of barley, I'm sure that's wrong. And all of the poppies have rendered beautifully. There's bags of detail there, bags of interest, and it sets the picture off. That foreground is the real thing that captures the viewer's eye before they drift off into the picture and receive information such as the conditions, the time of day, and the time of year. So that's the third image today. Okay, so this is the fourth image that I've chosen. This is called Towards Stanage Edge from Higgertor, and this is in the oldest national park in the UK, the Peak District, which is in its 70th year. People have been going to the Peak since 1951. It's a fantastic place to visit any time of the year, but I like to go when the heather's out. The North York Moors is perhaps the largest area of heather moorland in the UK with freedom to roam. But there's lots and lots of heather in the Peak District too. And we get these beautiful vantage points over rolling hills and sweeping valleys. And the thing I like about this picture it's the incredible colour combinations for a start. We've got these beautiful heather tones here. We've got some warmth in the grasses because it's quite lush there, as you can see. Clearly it rains a lot. And we've got this dramatic sky. On the picture that came up just before this, you may have noticed that the heather down here is really blowing about, and heather's quite a stubborn little shrub. But the wind really was blowing, and this is one of those few days when I will take lots and lots of pictures of the same thing, because I know that lots and lots of them are going to have movement in. But I managed to get one with no movement in. So the camera's tripod is embedded in the sort of boggy ground almost, with me holding onto it. And I'm pleased that I managed to get something that I could use. I think one of the things about this picture that I like is the fact that when people go and visit places like the Peak District, Yorkshire Dales, North Yorkshire Moors, this is the kind of weather that we get, certainly in the Lake District. But this is a typical day in the Peaks, and because of that, I think it has a resonance with me and perhaps people who go there. We've got this beautiful sky that's indicative of the winds that were available or flying around on the day. The sun's just off to the left, and it's the sun that's just catching these areas and the side of Stanage Edge here. So it's a nice picture. There's kind of a sweep to it as a composition. There's a little journey the eye can go on. And it's all about colour, really, colour and drama. For this one, because it's composed mainly of midtones, with the colour of the heather, the blues, the greens, the greys in the sky, I wanted to use a paper, it's one of my favourite papers, that is perfect for printing heavily mid-toned images, and that's the Canson Platine Fibre Rag. This is a fibre rag based paper. It's beautiful to handle, especially off a roll. It must be the finest paper to use off rolls in the world. It's reasonably high bright white with a slight warm tone, so it's not pure white. It's got no optical brighteners in there. This thing is pure archival paper, as are all the Canson Infinity Fine Art papers. But the Platine is something I've found that will never let me down when it comes to delivering detail, and it will never let me down when it comes to matching those colours and those midtones that were there when I made that image. So this is the paper I chose to get this down on. Okay, so this is the fifth and final picture for today from our summer collection of images. And this is called Above the Cloud, Windermere. And it's a picture that was born out of perseverance. When me and my friend, I went with a friend, we were recceing possible locations for use on future workshops, and this was one of the places we found. When we arrived, I'd been before once to have a little look. I went to the summit at the top, but on going this time, we couldn't really see anything. We were in some of the rolling mist that sometimes comes up and down the valleys. After a while, that started to clear, and it fell into the valley, and we've got various shots made looking slightly to the left towards Lakehead at Windermere, where we've got sort of patterns of almost inverted mist, low-lying mist going through the sweeping sort of hollows. But then as sunset started to come, it started to come back, and it was up and down. But this is a shot probably about 20 minutes, 25 minutes before sunset. And as you can see, the sun's still quite high in view. Now, the beauty of this is if you can control it, the sun will light up parts of your picture. So, for example, these clouds here are lit beautifully, and it gives them a totally different presence in the image. Also in the foreground, we've got these grasses lit, which is throwing parts of the foreground, parts of these rocks into relief to give us some kind of contrast. We've also got areas of sky where the sun cannot get to because it's behind this cloud, so it's not lighting up the other side of the cloud. So we've got dark and light everywhere in this picture. And sometimes you'll hear photographers say, oh, the light's gone, but the sun's still up. And sometimes we get the sun, maybe a little bit lower than that, where the sun's there, but this is no longer in sunlight. The sun is fading, its power's waning, and it can no longer light up the land. So one of the big benefits of a day like this is that you can get things lit. However, it's a problem controlling the brightness of the sun. And one of the reasons I get away with it here, apart from the heavy gradding that I've done on the sky with the filters, is that it's covered by some kind of haze which has diffused it. The composition itself, I've gone for sort of bands. We've got this band of light here, a band of dark in the middle, and then this sort of mixed area of light and dark at the top. We've got these sort of rocks. I remember running around frantically trying to find something that would help the viewer get through this image, this powerful image that I was hoping to create. And these rocks take you right across this central point and this sort of mix of lit cloud and dark hill up into the sort of powerful sky to finish the image. It's one of those images that has what I call multi-dimensional balance. There's something going on everywhere as the eye goes through, so it's quite powerful. There's a lot of sort of bright and dark in this picture, so it will come as no surprise to you to hear that for the second time in this series I've used the Canson Barita Prestige paper for the pure reason that it's fantastic at getting down these darks and these lights, and it will produce a powerful result that perfectly suits the conditions on the day. So those are the 5 pictures from today. They're all available for sale. As I've said before, these are not standard sizes, so I'm making them for sale, making them available as signed prints, which I'm shipping out to people. So if you want to grab yourself a bargain, go on the website and check out the special offers on the menu bar. Until next time, thank you very much.